Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 554 based on novel. So let's start. The powerful aura that had rushed into Wang Lin from the heart below rumbled inside his body like thunder. It washed over him and made him feel like he was inside a violent storm. The stars of the three clans rotated rapidly and all showed signs of reaching 9 stars. The large heart's heartbeat beat along with Wang Lin's heartbeat. Wang Lin even had the illusion that this giant heart was his heart. The giant heart followed the beat of his own heart. This feeling became stronger and stronger. In the end, Wang Lin could not hear anything but the beating of the hearts. This sound made Wang Lin felt very comfortable. The warm feeling also caused the stabbing pain in his heart to slowly dissipate. A sense of enlightenment entered Wang Lin's mind. This insight came from the heartbeats. In the last layer of the ancient tomb, Wang Lin felt like his heart was being stabbed and was about to explode. Wang Lin vaguely grasped this method of attacking, which wasn't a spell, ability, or Dao, as he calmed down. To affect the heartbeat of others with your own and change the rhythm of their heartbeat until their heart collapses. Or make their heartbeat beat in sync with yours to take control and then manipulate it to produce lethal force. These methods are very different to defend against. Perhaps I can borrow this insight to create another spell that belongs to me. Wang Lin opened his eyes, they were shining brightly. As he absorbed the aura from the heart, he deduced the feasibility of this idea. The heartbeat is like a sound, but this sound needs some help to spread out. My thunder origin can produce loud rumbles and obtain similar effects. If I condense my thunder essence in my heart to help my heartbeat spread out from the body, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. It still requires my dream Dao's help. The sound from my heartbeat and the dream Dao will enter at the same time. It will cause illusions to appear as their heartbeat changes, and certain effects could be achieved. Wang Lin's eyes became even brighter. If it is combined with my ethereal fire, then once the heartbeat causes an irritation in their heart, the ethereal fire would be able to burn. Wang Lin closed his eyes and continued to deduce the possibilities. Yi Sai puppet was sitting behind him, and its gaze became even more violent. It began to let out subconscious howls. Just as Wang Lin's heart and Yi Mo's heart were fusing and Wang Lin was comprehending the new spell, the second to last layer of the ancient tomb rumbled. At this moment, a vicious battle was in progress. There was a thunderous bang loud enough to make it feel as if the world was being torn apart. A gust of wind threw Tang Feng into the sky, and she fell onto the collapsed earth. A large amount of dust was kicked into the air. Tang Feng's face was pale as she struggled to get up. Blood was flowing from the corner of her mouth, her heart was trembling, and she was seriously injured. Not far from her, Yunifeng's eyes were closed shut. His injuries were very serious. When old Ghost John had waved his hand, his head injuries erupted and he had almost died. There was also Tuo Sen, who was surrounded by 3 black battle words and was completely sealed inside. The sky was dim and storms were raging. There were several figures inside this covered world. The Black Tortoise General and the Vermilion Bird General were fighting the 2 middle-aged men from Planet 5 Elements. Their battle raged, and it was difficult for a winner to be decided. However, compared to them, the real battle was raging in the distance. That was where old Ghost John was, and Dao Master Blue Dream and the old man named Ma were fighting against old Ghost John. Dao Master Blue Dream's expression was gloomy and his steps were a bit unsteady. Most of his spells were on the defensive, and he could not get close to old Ghost John. The old man named Ma had a helpless gaze, but his attacks caused the world to tremble. He had to act. He had come here with the cultivators from Planet 5 Elements due to Xian Luo's request. If he didn't act, he might anger Xian Luo, which would result in him being unable to leave this cave world. Old Ghost John's eyes were filled with coldness. If it wasn't for those 2 blocking him, he could have entered the last layer and killed Wang Lin to obtain the 3rd soul. However, these 2 were very difficult to deal with. They were willing to suffer injuries to stall him. As a result, even he was unable to rush into the last layer in a short period of time. As the 3 battled, the old man named Ma took several steps backwards. His face was slightly pale and he quickly sent out a divine sense message. Fellow cultivator Blue Dream, I'm going to use a powerful spell. The moment he sent out the divine sense message, Down Master Blue Dream waved his hand and blue light surrounded him as he charged at Old Ghost Shon. A thunderous rumble echoed as Old Ghost Shon waved his right hand. The word, battle, appeared and rapidly expanded. A monstrous force spread out, and the blue light distorted before quickly collapsing. Even the firefly dares to compete with the bright moon. Old Ghost Shon let out a cold snort and waved his sleeve as he charged at the old man named Ma. He was not worried about Blue Dream. After all, Blue Dream hadn't gone through arcane turbulence. The old man named Ma was not the same. If Old Ghost Shon didn't want to be entangled, he would have to seriously injure the old man named Ma. The old man named Ma retreated and pointed at the sky. He was about to use a spell when he saw Old Ghost Shon fly past Blue Dream and head toward him. His expression immediately became gloomy. This Blue Dream can't even block for a moment. However, whether it was him or Old Ghost Shon, they had underestimated Blue Dream. He was one of the 5 masters of the ancient star system and someone even the sovereign feared. Even though he hadn't gone through arcane turbulence, he had his own methods. At this moment, Down Master Blue Dream bit the tip of his tongue and spat out blood. The essence blood fused with the collapsed blue light and formed an ancient zither. The ancient zither gave off an ancient aura as if it had existed for countless years. It was invisible and had been stored inside Down Master Blue Dream's blood for countless years. Now that it was revealed to the world once more, it revealed its power. This ancient zither was Down Master Blue Dream's most powerful treasure and his ace. This was the real reason the sovereign dreaded Down Master Blue Dream. This zither had only been used once, during the battle that made Down Master Blue Dream famous. The song from the zither had buried countless bodies. Although he hadn't gone through any arcane turbulence, the effort and sacrifice he had put into refining this zither was even more than going through the arcane turbulence. The zither also had a mysterious origin. It felt like it didn't belong to the cave world. When the ancient zither appeared, Blue Dream's eyes were filled with sorrow. He missed his wife. Although his wife was within his storage space, he was unable to make her recover. With a sigh, Blue Dream sat down behind the zither and gently plucked the strings. Zang! The zither music echoed. Old Ghost Shon, who had walked right past Blue Dream, suddenly retreated 3 steps to the side and turned his head. The moment he turned his head, the zither music rippled. The sound from the zither came from Blue Dream and shrouded Old Ghost Shon, sealing his path of retreat. The old man named Ma's eyes revealed a strange light. He looked at the Down Master Blue Dream and his pupils shrank. He didn't recognize the zither, but he could tell that it was extraordinary. At this moment, he didn't hesitate and pointed at the sky with his right hand. 5-element golden celestial. Condense, golden sky? Endless golden light came from the body of the old man named Ma and spread into the sky. The collapsed sky was covered by golden light. Like the 9 songs and 3 signs. 5-element earth celestial. Condense, black earth. The old man named Ma pointed at the earth with his left hand. The earth rumbled and turned black. This spread like crazy until everything was colored black. After using 2 5-element spells, the old man named Ma was very tired. He didn't want to use more, and the hands he was pointing at the sky and earth with suddenly moved. At this moment, Down Master Blue Dream's zither music became even more intense and was filled with killing intent as it completely sealed Old Ghost Shon within. Old Ghost Shon's eyes lit up and he waved his right hand. A golden word, battle, appeared. The word collapsed and shook the seal around him. The zither music suddenly became louder and ripples echoed as it resisted the collapse of the word, battle. At the same time, the spell cast by the old man named Ma moved toward Old Ghost Shon. The golden sky rumbled and a golden hand reached out toward Old Ghost Shon. Shortly after, a black hand came out of the black earth. Like the golden hand, it slowly closed in on Old Ghost Shon. There was a flash of coldness in Old Ghost Shon's eyes, and the moment the spells closed in, he touched his forehead. A vague shadow that looked like a soul appeared behind Old Ghost Shon. The shadow was wearing a cape that covered everything below the eyes, revealing only a pair of gloomy eyes and long hair. This was the seven-colored celestial sovereign soul that had separated from old Ghost Jean's body. The soul that wore the cape opened his arms and his hair fluttered. His hands collided with the golden and black hands. It was also at this moment that ancient Dao aura spread out from the entrance to the last layer. The sound of a heart beating began to echo. This was Wang Lin's heartbeat. Old Ghost Jean's seven-colored soul flew out. The cape wrapped around him and collided with the gold and black arms that came from the sky and earth. Thunderous rumbles echoed. Old Ghost Jean was extremely powerful. Even without the seven-colored soul, he was a cultivator who was near the peak of arcane turbulent. He was half a step into the early stage of void turbulent. What's more, his soul had been chosen to be fused by the seven-colored soul. As a result, his cultivation level was infinitely close to that of the seven-colored celestial sovereign. At this moment, his body and soul separated. The seven-colored soul waved its arm and the gold arm from the sky collapsed. At the same time, the black arm from the earth trembled and disintegrated. Even Dao Master Blue Dream's zither seal disappeared without a trace under his impact. Dao Master Blue Dream coughed out blood. The zither buzzed and he was seriously injured. However, he didn't hesitate to play it again, and the two forces flew toward old Ghost Jean. Even the old man named Hadmar suffered a lot of rebound from the seven-colored soul breaking his spell. Blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth and he was pushed back more than 1,000 feet. However, he clenched his teeth and turned around to charge out once more. At the same time as the seven-colored soul and old Ghost Jean separated, old Ghost Jean flew toward the two middle-aged men from planet 5 Elements. They were battling the Black Tortoise General and the Vermilion Bird General. The Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird had already reached an agreement with old Ghost Jean, or maybe were forced to help. They believed that listening to old Ghost Jean was the only choice here, and they even believed that old Ghost Jean would become the new seven-colored celestial sovereign. At this moment, old Ghost Jean closed in and waved his sleeve. Two battle characters flew out and exploded on the two middle-aged men from planet 5 Elements. They were seriously injured and forced to retreat. A shocking battle intent erupted from old Ghost Jean. He was the creator of the battle scrolls and was the owner of the battle essence. If not for the fact that he had fused with the soul of the seven-colored celestial sovereign, which affected his personality, he wouldn't be so hesitant. Now that his body and soul had separated, a lot of the effects it had on him dissipated, returning him to his previous tyrannical ways. The tyrannical ways of battle. The two of you, quickly go the entrance and kill Wang Lin. Old Ghost Jean waved his sleeve and the two generals rushed out borrowing this force. They rushed toward the entrance to the next layer that had formed after the mountain had collapsed. As he finished speaking, he turned around and the old man named Ma arrived. The two looked at each other, and thunderous rumbles seemed to echo between them. As they stared at each other, they began to fight. Compared to the old man named Ma, Dao Master Blue Dream was more anxious, but his entire focus was on playing the zither to seal the seven-colored soul. He couldn't spare any effort to stop the Black Tortoise and the Vermilion Bird from disrupting Wang Lin. Tang Shan hadn't passed out. She clenched her teeth and leaped into the air to stop the Black Tortoise and the Vermilion Bird. Not far away, Tuo Sen was sealed by three battle characters. At this moment, he let out a roar and broke the characters he had weakened. When the seal collapsed, he rushed toward the Black Tortoise and the Vermilion Bird. However, he and Tang Shan were still slower than the two generals. Just as the two arrived at the collapsed mountain and were about to enter, a shocking change occurred. The fastest person was the Black Tortoise. He was 30 feet ahead of the Vermilion Bird. When he got close, he heard a heartbeat that echoed like thunder. This caused his own heart to beat chaotically. This sudden beat created a drilling pain in his heart. The Black Tortoise General's expression changed and a thunderous rumble echoed in his ears. The intense pain coming from his chest felt like a giant hand had reached into his chest and was about to grab his heart. When the intense pain arrived, the Black Tortoise General let out a painful cry, and he stopped moving forward. Just as he was about to retreat, a black hand appeared from the void and pressed against his chest. With a bang, the black tortoise general coughed out blood and was knocked back toward the vermilion bird behind him. The vermilion bird general was startled for a moment and also heard the heartbeat. This caused his heartbeat to become chaotic, and he felt a sharp pain in his chest. His face turned pale and he retreated without hesitation. However, just as he retreated, a sharp roar filled with ferociousness and violence along with bloodthirst came from the entrance. A shadow flew out and appeared before the vermilion bird general. The vermilion bird general only saw the black figure before he coughed out blood. The black shadow smashed into him and he was thrown back in an arc. However, the black shadow followed closely after the vermilion bird general and hugged him. The shadow revealed a fierce smile and bit the vermilion bird general's neck. The vermilion bird general's miserable scream was terrifying, and his body quickly withered as a lot of blood was sucked out by the black shadow. All of this happened in an instant. It was too fast to imagine. While still in the air, the black shadow raised its feet and kicked off from the vermilion bird general. The vermilion bird general was knocked into the earth while the black shadow borrowed this force to fly into the air. This was the Yi Sai puppet. This sudden scene caused Tang Shan and Tuo Sen to stop. This also caught the attention of the old man named Ma, Dao Master Blue Dream, and old ghost John, along with the seven-colored soul. As everyone's gazes gathered, Wang Lin's figure slowly appeared from the entrance to the last layer. Everyone who saw Wang Lin gasped because his appearance had changed greatly. He was still wearing all white, but the fresh bloodstains on his clothes were shocking. His hair was still white, but it was a mess, and part of his hair was draped over his shoulder. His white hair and clothes hadn't changed, but the skin under his clothes was covered in shocking runes. These runes flickered on Wang Lin's skin and gave off an ancient aura. His face was covered in runes. It looked very rough, and his eyes gave off a silver glow. The aura he exuded made it seem as if he felt disdain toward the entire world. His silver eyes revealed coldness and ruthlessness. There was also a sense of killing intent inside those silver eyes that made one's heart chill. What shocked Tuo Sen the most was that there were 9 stars rotating between Wang Lin's eyebrows. In his right eye, there were also 9 ancient devil stars. Only his left eye had 8 ancient demon stars. Flesh blood flowed out from his left eye and fell onto his white shirt from his cheek. You have obtained all of Yi Mo's inheritances. Old Ghost Sean's expression changed. He felt a sense of danger from Wang Lin, and this feeling made his heart tremble. Not only him, but everyone who saw Wang Lin's silver eyes trembled. Dao Master Blue Dream fared better than others. After all, he was Wang Lin's elder. However, the old man named Ma felt his heart tremble when he saw the silver eyes. Silver eyes? Rumor has it that when the celestial ancestor descends, there will be 9 songs and 3 signs. The golden sky is one of the signs. There is also a rumor that the 9 songs and 3 signs are also what happens when the ancient ancestor descends. The 9 songs are for the ancient ones, and the 3 signs are for the celestials. I once heard that 2 of the 9 songs were silver eyes and golden body. This Wang Lin has only obtained Yi Mo's inheritance. How could he have silver eyes? Even Yi Mo didn't have that. While everyone was shocked, Xian Luo looked at Wang Lin from the entrance to the last layer with excitement in his eyes. When he saw the silver eyes in the last layer for the first time, a huge wave was set off in his heart. When he saw it again now, he was still the same. The ancient ancestor's soul blood has allowed him to possess the first of the 9 songs, Silver Eye. As everyone felt shocked, Wang Lin's gaze swept past the ground and paused for a moment where Xian Luo was. With his silver eyes, he vaguely saw something, but aside from himself, no one knew what he had seen. After his gaze swept by, it landed on the 7-colored soul that had separated from old Ghost Sean. Looking at the body covered by the cape, Wang Lin pointed at the soul. The moment he pointed, the sound of a heart beating echoed like thunder. This sound came from Wang Lin's heart, and it quickly shrouded the world. Old Ghost Sean's expression changed and he immediately flew toward the 7-colored soul. Before Wang Lin's eyes, they fused into one. Wang Lin didn't stop him, and there was no need to stop him. After fusing, the 7-colored soul surrounded old Ghost Sean and covered the sky behind him. He sneered and charged at Wang Lin. Dao Master Blue Dream and the old man named Ma was about to help when Wang Lin's words calmly echoed between the heartbeats. "Two seniors, you have worked hard, I'll finish this battle." Wang Lin naturally saw that they were injured, and he wanted to know how strong he was after obtaining the inheritance. After he finished speaking, his heartbeat was monstrous. The thunderous rumbles affected one's heartbeat. As old Ghost Zhon closed in, this monstrous rumble entered his body and affected his heart directly. Old Ghost Zhon suddenly stopped and a stinging pain came from his heart. His heartbeat became chaotic as if his heart was going to collapse. What kind of spell is this? Old Ghost Zhon's expression changed. He raised his right hand and pressed it against his chest in an attempt to suppress the pain in his heart. This was a battle between gods and celestials. Wang Lin's cultivation slowly disappeared and his essences hid themselves. Right now, his entire body gave off a dense ancient Dao aura. Back then, the seven-colored celestial sovereign battled Yi Mo, and in the end, Yi Mo died. It was a pity. Today, I'll continue that battle with you. Wang Lin raised his right hand and mercilessly formed a fist. Popping sounds came from his hand. Wang Lin's silver eyes shined as he waved his sleeve and walked toward old Ghost Zhon. While moving forward, the heartbeat in Wang Lin's body rumbled, causing chaos in old Ghost Zhon's heart. Old Ghost Zhon felt pain in his chest, and his expression was gloomy. In the sky, the Yi Sai puppet turned into black fog and rushed toward old Ghost Zhon. Heartbeat, thunder echo. Wang Lin spoke calmly, and as he spoke, the thunder-like heartbeat became even faster. As the heartbeat violently raged, old Ghost Zhon let out a roar. He ignored the pain in his heart as he charged at Wang Lin. Mind confused, collapse in one step. Killing intent flashed in Wang Lin's eyes and he let out a roar. All the sound in the world seemed to gather on old Ghost Zhon. His heart began to show signs of collapse. Old Ghost Zhon's expression became fierce and he clenched his chest. His chest caved in as he used his power to control his heart by force, preventing it from beating. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed and he stepped forward. His right hand formed a fist and the ancient Dao aura gathered in his right hand. The 9 stars between his eyebrows and the 17 stars in his eyes rotated. All his ancient Dao aura gathered in this punch that flew toward old Ghost Zhon. Thunderous rumbles echoed across the world. The sky collapsed and the earth collapsed. It was like the end of the world. Old Ghost Zhon formed a seal and formed 7 battle characters in a row. They collided with Wang Lin's punch. Thunderous rumbles echoed and 6 of the 7 battle characters collapsed, and Wang Lin's punch also collapsed. Old Ghost Zhon trembled and was forced back a few steps. The last character flew toward Wang Lin and exploded. The force landed on Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin let out a muffled groan and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He looked up and saw the Yi Sai puppet close in on old Ghost Zhon, and they began to battle. After he absorbed the 7-colored Daoist, he became a lot stronger. Even though I have obtained all of Yi Mo's inheritances aside from the left eye, I'm still not his match. However, I can risk it once, regardless of whether I fail or not. Wang Lin remained calm and thought about the strongest spell he had inherited from Yi Mo. Yi Mo had learned this from the ancient Dao temple, and it was a secret spell of the ancient Dao clan. When Wang Lin was immersed in the memory of the inheritance he saw this spell, so it was difficult to forget. Right now, after he had obtained all the inheritances beside the left eye, he had gained great comprehension of this spell. He slowly raised his arm and formed a fist before punching at the void before him. What flew out along with his punch was his 9 ancient god stars, which fused into his fist. God tremble, army formation. The endless celestial soldiers didn't appear like what happened in Yi Mo's memory, but it didn't stop Wang Lin's spell. The moment his punch landed, the collapsed world trembled and became distorted as it were being sucked in toward the punch. It was as if Wang Lin's punch had become the center of the world, and even if it was collapsing, it had to rotate with his fist as the center. The world rotated, only Wang Lin remained unmoving. This caused the expression of old Ghost Zhon, who was fighting against the Yi Sai puppet, to change. His body trembled and he felt a sense of danger. he bit the tip of his tongue and sprayed out blood that tried to devour the Yisai puppet in order to force it back. Old Ghost John rushed toward Wang Lin. Before he got close, Wang Lin pulled back his fist and opened his palm before pushing the air in front of him. At the same time, Wang Lin's 8 ancient demon stars in his left eye rotated and flew out with his palm. Demon spell, wind and fire mountain. As the world rotated and distorted, burning wind appeared, forming 8 pillars around Wang Lin. Smoke and dense demonic energy spread out as miserable screams echoed. At the same time, the vague shadow of 8 ancient demons appeared between his pillars. The demons roared, and the pillars rotated around Wang Lin. From afar, these 8 smoking pillars of burning wind fused together seemed to form a storm. Old Ghost John's body rushed into this storm of fire and wind. Thunderous rumble echoed and he was about to force his way inside. However, he didn't have the time. The Yisai puppet let out a roar and caught up to Old Ghost John. Wang Lin was inside the storm of fire and wind. After one punch and one wave, his right hand stopped in the air. Then he extended his index finger and pointed forward. Devil Dao, life and death reverse. Wang Lin spoke as he pointed at Old Ghost John. The expression of Old Ghost John changed rapidly as he felt the life force in his body quickly turn into a death aura. As Wang Lin pointed, the ancient tomb began to show signs of collapse. Whether it was this layer, the layer below, or the layer above, they were all filled with endless death aura. This death aura was formed by the large amount of life that had died here over the countless years. At this moment, they had all moved due to Wang Lin's spell and all gathered toward Wang Lin. In an instant, the death aura arrived, covering everything. There was so much death aura that it formed a sea. It had turned this rotating world into a dead sea. Inside this death aura, the aura of the ancient devil spread out. One could vaguely hear the howls of ghosts. God, demon, devil, ancient Tao, no celestials. Wang Lin muttered as he opened his palms and gently pushed before. The 3 ancient clans' powers quickly merged inside his body. 9-star ancient god. 9-star ancient devil. 8-star ancient demon. These powers fused together inside Wang Lin to form the ancient Tao power. This was the strongest power Wang Lin possessed. They gathered in Wang Lin's right hand, and as his hand moved forward, a giant shadow appeared before him. This shadow was a head. This head was as large as the world, and it occupied most of the world. It gave off a gloomy and ancient aura. Its appearance was not Yimo or Wang Lin, but a stranger. Wang Lin didn't know who it was, but he had a familiar feeling. This feeling came from his bloodline, from the soul blood he had gotten from the ancient ancestor. If Wang Lin were to go to the ancient Tao clan in the immortal astral continent and see the towering statue that viewed the world with contempt, he would realize that the head that had appeared was the same as that statue. Ancient ancestor. In the distance, Xian Luo's body trembled. He looked at the head with respect. That head's eyes were blurry and it was impossible to clearly see its eyes. At this moment, it opened its mouth and let out a breath. This breath was like a gust of wind that blew against the world, against Old Ghost John, and against the entire ancient tomb. The violent wind raged and the earth collapsed. Crackling sounds came from the sky of this layer of the ancient tomb. The sky became grey and turned to stone. The earth was covered by grey light and was completely petrified. It was not only this layer. When this aura spread out, the last layer that had no heart left was petrified. Even the layer above, which was covered in fog, and the entire ancient tomb became petrified as the breath spread. Old Ghost John's pupils shrank, filled with shock. His face was pale and retreated like crazy. He even ignored the Yisai puppet that was chasing him. As he retreated, his hands formed a seal and 7-colored smoke came out from his body, forming the 7-colored soul. At the same time, the second soul also came out and it was shrouded by the cape. As the cape surrounded him, the ancient Tao breath blew by. The 7-colored soul immediately turned to stone, followed by the second soul. In the end, Old Ghost John's body also petrified with a flash of grey light. Everything seemed to end, but when Old Ghost John and the 2 souls became petrified, large amounts of cracking sounds echoed. The stone collapsed and the two souls went back into old Ghost John's body. His body trembled and he coughed out blood as he retreated with horror in his eyes. He was afraid like when Wang Lin held the Li Guang bow. As he retreated, the petrified sky collapsed and large amounts of spatial rifts appeared. Along with it, the entire ancient tomb collapsed. The black fourth flower suddenly collapsed and turned into a storm as it shattered. Blood flowed out from the corner of Wang Lin's mouth, and he couldn't hold it back, so it sprayed out. He retreated more than 1,000 feet in the collapsed ancient tomb. There was pity and bitterness in Wang Lin's eyes. I used the ancient Tao, no celestial by force, but he still escaped. I don't have the power to use it again anytime soon. If I had the left eye, and my ancient demon was also 9 stars, this battle would not be so difficult. I'm still not his match. Forget it, I'll go to the 5th flower and find the real door to the immortal astral continent. Then I'll open the door and borrow the power from the immortal astral continent to seal him. Wang Lin let out a sigh and disappeared from the collapsing ancient tomb. This video will end here.